I never thought silence could be so loud. The kind of silence that presses on your chest, where every heartbeat feels like a hammer against your ribs. That's what I heard when I stood in the shadows of the restaurant's parking lot, staring through the glass window. Inside, my wife Claire was in another man's arms. Not in the polite way people hug at dinner parties. Not in the casual embrace between old friends. No, her head was pressed against his chest, her smile brighter than anything I'd seen directed at me in months. And then, God help me, her lips found his. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. For a moment, I wasn't a man anymore. I was just broken glass scattered on the ground. Before that night, if you asked anyone who knew us, they'd have said Claire and I had the kind of marriage that lasted. 15 years, 2 kids, a mortgage, and countless late nights of shared laughter. We weren't flashy, but we were steady. She was my anchor. Lately, though, things had shifted. I told myself it was stress. Claire had started working late. She was helping with projects or going over numbers. She'd come home exhausted, her perfume still lingering even after she'd showered. I wanted to believe her. God knows I wanted to. But then came the subtle changes, the ones you can't explain away. She kept her phone face down. She laughed at messages she never shared. She grew distant in bed, like I was a stranger lying beside her. Husband knows. He might deny it, but deep down he knows. The confirmation. That night, she told me she was meeting a colleague to discuss strategy. Something in me snapped. I told her to go, kissed her cheek like the trusting husband I used to be, and then followed her. I parked 2 blocks away and walked, each step heavier than the last. My hands trembled, but I kept moving until I saw her car outside the restaurant. And then, her arms around him. The truth didn't arrive like a sudden blow. It seeped in, poisoning slowly. My chest tightened, my throat closed, but my eyes wouldn't look away. I watched the woman I loved become someone else entirely. The walk home. She didn't see me. I left before she could. I walked home alone, the night air sharp and unkind. Every step felt like betrayal grinding deeper into my bones. My wedding ring weighed 100 pounds on my finger. When I got home, I sat in the dark living room. The clock ticked like a countdown to some inevitable ending. At midnight, Claire came in. Her perfume hit me first, sweeter than usual, almost mocking. "Hey," she said casually, dropping her purse on the counter. Long night. I studied her. Her hair was slightly mussed, her lipstick faintly smudged. She didn't even notice. "Did the meeting go well?" I asked, my voice steady in a way that scared me. She smiled, my wife smiled, and nodded. "Yeah. Very productive." That's when I realized betrayal doesn't always come with confessions. Sometimes it comes wrapped in lies, delivered with a smile. The breaking point. Days passed, each one heavier than the last. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. I looked at her across the breakfast table and saw the kiss replaying in my head. She poured cereal for our kids, kissed them on the forehead, and played the perfect mother. But at night she turned away from me in bed. I tried to confront her once. "Claire," I said softly, "is there something you need to tell me?" She blinked, feigning confusion. "What do you mean?" I feel like you're not here anymore. With me." She sighed. "David, I'm just tired. Work's been crazy. Stop overthinking." Her hand touched mine, but it felt foreign. Mechanical. I wanted to scream. To shake her until the truth fell out. But I didn't. Because part of me still wanted to believe her lies. Evidence. The following week I couldn't take it anymore. I checked her phone while she showered. The messages were there. Dozens of them. From Ethan. "Can't stop thinking about last night. You looked beautiful today. When are we sneaking away again?" And her replies. They weren't the words of my wife. They were the words of a woman who belonged to someone else. I put the phone down before I threw it against the wall. My hands shook so violently I had to sit. 15 years. 15 years of love, loyalty, and sacrifice, reduced to a string of texts and stolen kisses. The confrontation. That night, I waited for her in the kitchen. The house was quiet, the kids asleep. She walked in, humming softly, until she saw me sitting there. "We need to talk," I said. Her eyes flickered, just for a second. But I caught it. A flash of fear. "About what?" she asked, forcing calm. I slid her phone across the table. "About Ethan." Her face went pale. She opened her mouth, closed it, then whispered, "You went through my phone? That's what you're worried about." I snapped, my voice cracking. "Not the fact that you've been lying to me. Not the fact that you're with him." Tears welled in her eyes, but I couldn't tell if they were from guilt or fear of being caught. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered. Those words cut deeper than any confession. "'Cause it happened." She let it. He chose it. The shattered illusion. The days that followed were a blur of arguments and silence. She begged me to try to work through it. She claimed it was a mistake, that he didn't mean anything. But I had seen the way she held him. People don't hold mistakes like that. Our home turned into a battlefield. The kids sensed it, though we tried to hide it. They'd retreat to their rooms, their laughter replaced by whispers. I started sleeping on the couch. Not because she asked, but because I couldn't stand the smell of her perfume on the pillow beside me. Choice. I thought forgiveness was possible once. But forgiveness requires truth, and she still clung to lies. One evening I asked her directly, "Do you love him?" Her silence was the answer. Tears burned my eyes, but I held them back. "Then you can't love me. Not anymore." She broke down, sobbing, reaching for me, but I stepped back. I'd given everything I could. And she had given herself to someone else. The final goodbye. A week later she packed a bag. Not everything, just enough for a while. She stood in the doorway, suitcase in hand, looking like a stranger. "I don't want this to be the end," she whispered. "It already is," I said. She left, the door clicking shut with a finality that echoed through every room. I stood there, staring at the space she'd occupied for 15 years, and felt the weight of betrayal settle over me. It's been months now. The kids stay with me most of the time. Claire visits, but she's not the same woman I married. Maybe she hasn't been for a long time. Some nights, I still see her in that restaurant window, arms wrapped around Ethan, eyes shining with love that was never mine. Betrayal doesn't end when the cheater walks out. It lingers, haunts, it reshapes the way you see the world. But it also teaches. I've learned that love without trust is nothing. That silence can be deafening. And that sometimes, letting go is the only way to survive. Because I may have lost my wife that night, but I found the truth. And though it broke me, it also set me free.